Howdy, howdy, welcome back to Crafty Grinding, as it's time again to take a look at some Marvel Contest of Champions Round 1 Arena Cutoff results, then jump into some Round 2 predictions. So first, the results. So taking a look first at the 5-star feature Venom the Duck, the cutoff came in at 32.5 million. The 4-star feature came in at 5.8 million, and the 4-star basic Elsa Bloodstone Arena cutoff came in at 2.061 million. So not one, but 2.06 million. So comparing these self-reporting, and just as always like to remind folks, these results are for the Veterans Bracket. If you're new to the game, Veterans Bracket means that your account has been open for over 60 days. There's 3 different types of arena brackets in the game. Basically, Kabam put these in there for new accounts, so they have a chance to just compete against newer accounts. It don't have to go against rosters that have been in the game for 4 or 5 years, which means you pretty much have no chance to get any of the rank rewards. Whereas with the beginner and intermediate brackets out there, you're only competing against similar type rosters, so you have a better chance on getting those rank rewards. But anyway, the results that you're seeing here are for the Veterans Bracket. And comparing these results, and these are self-reported results because Kabam never releases the official results, but because a number of folks across the community now go to some familiar spots to share their results and not just claim them, they'll actually share little snapshots of their screens or something like that, so it's 100% confirmed. Obviously, people could Photoshop if they wanted to take the time, but since it's just if you're new to the game, this community really doesn't do that. Occasionally, you'll see some people out there messing around, but for the most part, most people are watching out for each other across the community, and such is the case in self-reported arena cutoff scores. And so because of that, we get a good sense just because the community sharing amongst ourselves what those results are. So, with all that being said, comparing these self-reported results to what my predictions were, these were pretty much spot on. So, from time to time, I get all 3 main arenas right, and couldn't gotten any closer than I got on this. All within 5%, closer to like 1 or 2% off from the actuals, which is definitely some of the better scoring or better predicting that I do. So I always try to get within 5 to 10%. So in this case, pretty much spot on. So but as I always remind folks, past results don't guarantee future results. So don't expect this in the future. If I can get you in the ballpark, job accomplished. But anyway, so now that I've taken a look at the round one results, let's take a look at comparing some past or recent round 1 to round 2 for similar type of arenas to see what those results look like, to see if there's any trends out there that might give us a good idea what might happen in round 2. Starting first with the 4-star basic arena, you can see for some of these first timers that recently came in, and first timers mean their first time in the 4-star basic arena, meaning it was the first time newer to the game, came in as a feature champ, arena feature champ, and now they made their cycle around to be the 4-star basic champ. So let's see how they did here, starting first with Stealth Suit Spidey on the left, coming in at 2.4. In the second round, he went for 2 million, so a slight decrease. Mysterio went at 2 million in the first round, so a lower cutoff, but guess what? Jumped up to 2.2 million. Sunspot, and this one I found interesting because out of all of these, I think Sunspot, in my opinion anyway, is the best, at least damage-producing champ, if you know how to play him anyway. First round, his cutoff was 2.3 million, dropped all the way down to 1.5 million. So I don't know what was going on. Maybe I'm not thinking about it. Maybe there was some emergency maintenance or something. But anyway, surprisingly, for 1.5 million, people were able to get Sunspot in the second round. But anyway, that was a drop. I kind of throw that out unless there's an exception. And then we jump over to the most recent with Vision Arcus coming in at 2 million in the first round, jumping to 2.2 million. So obviously here, when you look at these past recent results, the most closest that resemble what we saw here with Elsa Bloodstone coming a little bit over 2 million is the Mysterio and Arcus arenas. And you can see in both cases there was a slight jump for the second round cutoff. Now coming with the old 4-star feature arenas, looking, you see 6.5 for Darkhawk going to 7 million, Nihilus from 5.8 to 6.2, an increase, Domino from 6.4 to 6.5, another increase, and then most recently Star-Lord from 5.6 to 5.9 million. So here you can see with some similar results to what we're seeing with Venom the Duck, there's a very slight increase between round 1 and round 2. And that's pretty consistent, again, across the most 4 recent similar type arenas. Then jumping to the 5-star feature arena, you can see Darkhawk, slight increase, Annihilus, a slight decrease, and then Domino, a slight increase, and then with Star-Lord, pretty much the same score. So for the most part, there's just a marginal difference, one way or the other, up or down. There's really no consistency here, but it's all generally within the same ballpark between the first and second round cutoffs for the 5-star feature arenas. So thinking about all of these past results, here are my thoughts for round 2 cutoff predictions for Venom the Duck and Elsa Bloodstone Arena. Starting first with the 5-star feature Venom the Duck, I think we're looking at 34 million. That slight increase between round 1 and round 2. Again, it could be a slight decrease and go a little bit under, but I think it's going to go a tad bit higher. Again, it's very similar from round 1 cutoff. Jumping over to the 4-star feature that we saw consistently, there was a slight increase between round 1 and round 2 for similar past arenas. I think we're going to see that here from that 5.8 to 6.2. I think those are exactly the numbers we saw for Annihilus. Then jumping over to the 4-star feature, Elsa Bloodstone, again looking at Mysterio and Envision Arcus, there was that increase from right around 2 million to 2.2 in the second round. We'll just go ahead and assume that's going to stick around this time around. And then lastly, with that 3-star feature, typically what we see is a slight bump from round 1 to round 2, but it's still just slightly over that last milestone reward. So we're looking around 725 million. And again, these predictions are for the veterans bracket, and I always try to get within 5 to 10%, as I shared at the beginning of the video. So I always like to give folks a grind target, which just basically gives you a better chance to get the champion, go a little bit higher. I think 37 million will be plenty enough for Venom the Duck 5-star, 6.5 million for the 4-star feature Venom the Duck, 2.4 million for Elsa Bloodstone, and 775,000 roughly in that ballpark for Venom the Duck 3-star. So anyway, at the beginning of the video, I talked about the earlier brackets. There's just not a ton of data that people share regularly. I do get, thanks to you, the community, again, it's the community helping one another out. Folks will let me know from time to time how they're doing in these beginner and intermediate brackets, doing some self-reporting, because that's, again, the only way that we know, since Kabam doesn't ever release that information. And why would they? Because if no one knew, people would just burn through their units to continue to grind if they really don't want to miss out a champ. And anytime you burn through units, it's a better chance for Kabam to make money. So guess what? They're not releasing those numbers. If they do, great, but at this point, they really don't have to, because they know the community is taking care of that for them. But anyway, when it comes to the beginner and intermediate bracket, not so much, just because as those names applies, that's just, people come in and out of accounts all the time, and there's a lot of volatility. So even for those folks that for a small period of time are sharing the results, guess what? They're on to bigger and better things, aka the veterans bracket. And there's just one less person sharing the results. So anyway, with all that being said, keep that in mind. Bear in mind, these are very rough ballpark numbers based off of a little, not much, just a tiny bit of historical data. So keep that in mind. But anyway, with the beginner's bracket, 3-star feature, we're looking at 225,000, 4-star basic, 800,000, 4-star feature, 1.4 million. For the intermediate bracket, now just to make sure everybody's clear, beginner's brackets 1 to 30 days since the account is open. Not how much you play the account, but when you open it, actually open it up. And so there's a timestamp to that that's being recorded, just so you know. And then the intermediate bracket is from 31 to 60 days. And sometimes I get the question, hey, what if I start in the beginner's bracket, but then I get to day 31 midway through the arena? You're going to remain in that bracket that you started in. So I've seen that myself a handful of times with a number of my alt accounts, and I can confirm that. Now, at least, a year or so ago, the last time I seen that, it's not been a while, but I doubt Kabam's gone through the trouble to code that out of the way. That's probably what they intended, or they're fine with that setup. So anyway, for the intermediate bracket, 3-star feature, you're looking at 525,000, 4-star basic, 1.1 million. And lastly, the 4-star feature, Venom the Duck at 1.2 million. So these are my thoughts for round 2 of the Venom the Duck and Elsa Bloodstone arenas. I would love to hear your opinion, especially if it's different than mine. Or if you have any questions, give me a shout out on the Crafty Grinding Twitter account, or you can drop me a comment on the videos, on the comment section of this video, and I will try to get to your questions or thoughts sooner than later. Got a better shot at Twitter just because it's a little easier for me to engage with that one versus the comment section of the videos. But you can also try it here if you're not comfortable or using Twitter or anything like that. So anyway, Hopefully you found this information helpful. If so, would really appreciate if you click that thumbs up button, as that's a good indicator to me. Keep on making this content. Plus, it's also a good indicator to YouTube that, hey, this is good content that people that like Marvel Contest of Champions, I should show that to them. So that helps out my channel as your likes help get my videos in front of more folks. So anyway, thanks again for stopping by and have a great day.